Hi, I'm Chrane. I've been speaking with my chat here, the arbiters, as it were, and yeah, we've kind of updated the rule set a bit. Nothing insanely big change-wise, but we have cleared up some stuff. Number one, full team wipe equals game over. It's still the same, fairly straightforward. You know, if they're all dead, they're gone. Number two, I can't believe this was not on the list earlier. If a Digimon faints, it's dead. I don't know why I didn't add that. Maybe my mind was like, well, that's obvious. That's what a Nuzlocke is. But not everyone plays Nuzlockes. So, you know, it's on the list now, number two. If a Digimon faints, it's dead. Send to the literal farm, which also means no revives in the game. Also, by popular demand of the chat, if you don't want to put your dead Digimon in the farm, you can always use them to load the remaining party members. No repeat Digimon. That goes for rookie and up. If you get one of the, like in training 1, in training 2, it's fine. If you get duplicates there, they can go separate directions after that to solve that problem. Number 4, only one Digimon per area. You can target farm or reset rooms, but it's harder because, you know, the smaller ones that are easier to get charges or get scans for are going to be rushing you when you try to farm something that requires a lot more scans. So it's fine to reset rooms, it's whatever. Also, to differentiate areas, whenever the text in the top left of the screen is like government building floor 20, and then you go up an elevator and it says government building floor 42, those are separate areas. Whenever the left top of your screen says something different, if it's a different floor, if it's a different part of the map, like when the name up there is different, that's a new area, and that's when you get new encounters. Just to make that as clear as possible, because there were people asking about it. Only the first 200% in the area is converted into a teammate. The first 1 to 200 scans is your new teammate. Again, you can try to target farm, but it's very difficult. Very difficult. Digivolution this is new one here, number 6. Digivolution is decided through a random number generator instead of the first one available. So now it's a number generator, and you can add... I figured you could just add a number to the end of the name of the Digimon to make it easier to remember. So if I show you my game here, I can show you an example real quick. So let's say I have my boy Dan right here, right? I'm just gonna make this a little easier and remove that because I already kind of made an example. So let's say my boy Dan, because we're like giving the names is optional, I feel, but like since it's a Nuzlocke, I'm giving the names to have the loss hurt more, basically. So let's say Dan here. We need to set a random number generator between 1 and 5, because that's how many evolution options he has. Let's say, so you set the range between 1 and 5, and then let's say I roll a 2 for this one. So number 2 means this evolution. Now, that's where I'm going. That's the evolution I'm getting. I can see the requirements here. Now, how do I remember that? Well, you can go back to the setup menu. Go into all his details here. Then down here, you have a thing called changed name. You click that. You enter name. And then I add a number 2 to the end. That way, I remember that his evolution is the second one in the tree. That's where he's going. And then when he evolves, I just change name and I remove it. So that's an easy way to keep track. It's not perfect. You could use a notepad on the side or something if you rather do that. It's up to you. Just a tip, you know, in case you want some suggestions for how to keep track of it. That's one way to do it. Also, if you somehow get locked out of a future evolution, such as, you know, being blocked by not having a specific armor Digivolution you get, you can reroll, get something else. If you are blocked by a DNA Digivolution, you can re-roll into something else for to evolve into. And the same with, like, if you get Digimon as a result of your dice roll, then you can, of course, re-roll that again, so that you don't get locked into something that is kind of impossible for you to actually put on your team. Gift clause, number 7. Gift clause, you can keep 1 gifted Digimon per area. For example, the armor evolutions from Pegasusmon in Central Town. I don't know if there are other examples of gift Digimon, but I feel like it's fine to, you know, pick 1 of them to keep at that point, because the game is basically giving them to you, and in Pokemon you get the gifted Pokemon. So yeah, basically you pick 1 of the armored ones that you're able to get when you do that quest, and then you either send the other ones to the farm, or you turn them into... Well, no, you don't send them to the farm. That's where your wasted teammates are going. So you either load them into another party member, or you turn them into money with return to data. Speaking of that, you have to convert outer dungeon Digimon to data or load, because outer dungeons give you some crazy things, okay? You can get a Tyrant Kabuterimon before you even unlock Mega Evolutions. And I don't want you to have that guy in your team, basically. So he has to go immediately, as soon as possible. He's out of here, okay? So either you load or you turn him into data, whatever. Just get him out of there. He's not for this run. He's not for the team, okay? We still have, let's see here. Yeah, we did remove the no loading thing, because you're gonna have a very limited amount of Digimon in your box and on your team, so loading from that very specific set of Digimon is fine. Like, if you want to sacrifice one of your potential teammates for, like, some buffs for one of the current ones that you have in your party, then that's fine. Like, it's not important. So we are allowing load because you have a very limited amount of Digimon on your team. Also, we removed the difficulty requirement of hard. The game is basically balanced around balanced, shockingly enough. And if you want to make the challenge a bit harder, you can play hard. And if you are uncertain but still want to try a Nuzlocke, feel free to set it to easy. That's fine. We removed the difficulty requirement, basically. Next up, number 9, no items in combat. Fairly self-explanatory. You're not going to be using any heals. You're not going to be clearing any debuffs. You're not going to be doing any of that. We're not using items unless it's that very one specific quest item during one of the boss fights. That's fine. We need to go into your inventory and put a thing down on the ground. You can do that. That's whatever. Outside of that, though, no. Number 10, no running from combat. If you're there, you're there. You're stuck. Good luck. Number 11, no farm. As of right now, I haven't gotten to any significant distance through the game, so if there's a challenge from this, you know, that where you like need to use the farm for something, I don't know about it because I haven't experienced it. But so far, no farm. You don't do anything with items in there, no personality changes, no stat updates, nothing. We don't touch the farm. It's only a graveyard. Okay, we put them in there because they're gone. It's our Hall of Fame, basically. It's the it's the, you know, metaphorical farm where parents keep sending dogs. You know, that's grim as hell, but it is essentially what we're turning the farm into. So there it is. Number 12, talking to Digimon to change personality. Yeah, that's kind of what you're left with when you don't get to use the farm. So if you want to change personalities, go ahead and talk to them. We're not going to be using the farm because it's too damn easy. I feel like I could probably remove number 12 and just add that, like, onto number 11, you know? And maybe I should. Maybe I'll do that. Let's see here. No farm. Talk to them to change person. There we go. Okay. And we're back down to 15 rules again. So let's fix those numbers. 165, no thank you. Okay. Okay. So, no farm for items, personality, or stats. Talk to them to change personality, because it's too damn easy to do it through the farm. Now, here's number 12 is one of the things that have been most contested on the videos, right, that I put out, where a lot of people are not wanting to stick to the very limited movesets of the Digimon based on the moves you get from leveling up. So let me read this out first and then we'll talk about it. Number 12, only allowed to use attachment skills that Digimon learned through leveling in current and prior forms, like a skill tree. No attachment skills off the ground, chests, or vendors. So the point of number 12 is to make a Digimon feel unique, which could also complicate things quite heavily. Okay, I'm not blind to that. Absolutely. So the whole point of this is to, when you get a Digimon and you can just swap out all the moves on them, some Digimon are essentially gonna turn out to be very similar. And that's great for like being able to heavily customize your team and make the team you want. But in a Nuzlocke, the entire point of the run is kind of the opposite. To have the run decide your team for you, which means that, you know, you should not be the one deciding what moves they get, essentially, right? And that might seem unfair, it might seem unbalanced, but that is kind of what a Nuzlocke is. And it might be a bit difficult to keep track of, but when you, let's say you get lucky and you actually go Agumon, Greymon, and not Ultimate Greymon, like Metal Greymon. Let's say you actually go through that evolution line, right? Through the number generator. You get those 3 in a row. Your Metal Greymon is not gonna be wanting to run moves from Agumon, most likely, right? So there's not that much you have to keep track of. There might be one charge move or one like break move or something like that from a prior evolution you might want to keep, but like Vulcan Palm 1 and Magnafall 1 is not going to be relevant to a Metal Greymon, you know, as an example. I don't know if Agumon gets all those moves, but just as an example, I feel like sticking, and my chat also apparently agreed with this, which I was not expecting. I expected full, like, yeah, just allow everything, but no, apparently they agree that we should stick to a a skill tree, as it were, of moves learned through level up, and stick to that. However, though, point number 13 kind of alleviates some of the problems with this, because number 13 is Agimon's moveset can be freely customized. Since he's a guest character, he's going to be coming and going, more being there than not, but you are free to change his moveset however you want. So if there is a situation where you're having trouble not finding a healer for your party early on in the game, but you have him, and you can use him as a healer. There could be an argument that if he faints, he should not be allowed to use moves such as like taunt and stuff like that, because, you know, if he already wiped once in the fight, you know, should there be a debuff, as it were, because he's able to come back. But like, you're also not allowed to use revives, so he's not gonna be coming back in that fight anyway. So I feel like it's better to just leave it at Agimon's moveset can be freely customized, and that's kind of it. Since we can't revive him when he's down in a fight, he's down. He's gonna come back next fight, but, you know. So yeah, that's kind of how I want to balance that out a bit, to let you fully customize his moveset to whatever you want at that point, to try to, you know, fill in some gaps. First Titamon fight is no wipe, so if you lose that fight, your run is not over. But deaths still count. I I have gotten some pushback on this from my chat, but I stand by this, honestly. I haven't gotten to that fight yet in my run that I'm doing, but you can win that fight. It's not a guaranteed loss. So I feel that, like, since you can win it, I feel like it's fine to still have the deaths count. Even though your run continues, I still think the deaths should count. If you disagree, you can just ignore that rule. It's fine. Addendum. We are now a few hours later in the stream, and the chat has convinced me. The Tidamon fight. You get no experience from winning it. Therefore, it is scripted to be a loss. Therefore, the deaths are null. They don't matter. They don't count. And then finally, no DLC dungeon grind. Personally, I feel like if you want to stick to like a strict max level thing, if you want to be like, I cannot go above level 12 for this fight, then you could have used the DLC dungeon to like get XP discs and get all your guys to level 12, kind of like Pokemon players use rare candies for Nuzlocks to hit a max level. Since it's incredibly difficult to manage max levels in this, because everyone keeps leveling in the box. So it's not really possible to stop someone from leveling. So that's kind of the way I'm looking at it. Like, if you want to use that to give yourself a max level, then whatever, I don't care. But like, using that dungeon, you are gonna get a bunch of talent, bond, and stuff like that, which is just gonna make your level cap go crazy on the Digimon you do have in your team. So I think it's safer to just not use it at that point. Mentioned that you can just go in and sack one Digimon and keep going if you want to. Oh, you mean for the Tidamon fights? That is an option, yeah. If you want the Tidamon fight to be as risk-free as possible, it is true, you could send in just one of your Digimon that you're fine with losing to get that fight over with quickly. So you can just, like, say you have a Punimon, for example, in your party. You can just make that your entire party, lose the fight immediately, and then just go forth. So, if that's how you want to get through that fight and you don't want to risk losing anyone, then that's absolutely a way to do it. Pre-order, you shouldn't be able to use either. Yeah, I guess. If you start a new run and you get the Agumon and Gabumon in your box from the pre-order, same with Bond of Friendship and Bond of Bravery, then yeah, you're not allowed to use them. Basically. What about Digi Eggs? If you got them, smoke them if you got them, basically. If you have a Digi Egg, then go ahead. They're not overpowered or anything, so feel free to use them on your team. Simon Best Boy, what are you playing Expedition 33 over there? Like, what? But yeah, I feel like that's kind of where we're at. I don't know if there's anything more to add. Basically, we removed difficulty. We removed the difficulty requirement. We removed restrictions on load. Yeah, we removed the first available evolution is the one you're going with. Instead, you're doing the random number generator instead, because that's going to make your team more varied, more interesting. And yeah, I don't know if there's anything else we need to... yeah. Target farming. Hercules Kabuterimon is going to be meta. It's next to the zone transition. Well, well. I guess that's a pretty clean pickup done for the team. If we remember. But yeah, on that note though, YouTube, watching the YouTube video, don't worry chat, I'll be here after I close this out. We're not gonna stop the stream. But YouTube, watching the YouTube video, thank you so much for watching. Feedback, please give me all your feedback down below We can always revise and go back to it and, you know, keep changing stuff, change our minds on anything in here. So yeah, do tell me what your feedback is in the comments down below, and you know, like, subscribe to the channel, it helps a lot, and punch that notification button as if it owes you lunch money. So on that note, thank you so much for watching, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time. Bye.